The Hill is reporting that Bernie Sanders is pretty angry at what he's calling the rigged debate schedule for the Democratic primary. Now, to be clear, I believe it was Martin O'Malley who first said that it was rigged, but then you have Bernie who came out later and co-signed that and said, yeah, I think it's rigged as well. So they report the following, quote, Bernie Sanders believes the Democratic Party is using its limited primary debate schedule to rig the nomination process. The DNC has drawn criticism for scheduling only 4 debates before the early primary states cast their votes, and 6 total throughout the election cycle. So Sanders said the following, quote, at a time when many Americans are demoralized about politics and have given up on the political process, I think it's imperative that we have as many debates as possible. I look forward to working with the DNC to see if we can significantly expand the proposed debate schedule. Further, I also think it is important for us to debate not only in the early states, but also in many states which currently do not have much Democratic presidential campaign activity. So that's Bernie's way of saying, not only do I want to debate a lot, I would also like to debate a lot in red states because I think that my message will resonate with everybody. So the question is Bernie right and is Martin O'Malley right when they say, something's fishy here, man. Something doesn't smell right. I mean, Hillary Clinton's kind of getting favoritism here by limiting the debate schedule. Is that true? I think it's absolutely true. Now, I think that for a variety of reasons, but one of the main reasons is that the way the debates have worked in America since Ross Perot, it's been totally, everything has been rigged. Everything about it is fake. They always try to exclude candidates who will rock the boat. Now, thankfully, they weren't able to do that to Bernie this time around, but think about it. Why is it that Jill Stein wasn't allowed to debate when she was running as an independent, and she wanted to get in the debates against Democrats and Republicans? Well, the reason is the people who run the debates are the Democratic and Republican parties. It used to be a third-party thing. It used to be, I believe, the League of Independent Women Voters that ran it, and they were more fair and more open-minded, and they realized, oh, if somebody's running, we might as well let them in. But then when Ross Perot went in there and cleaned house and got a really high percentage of the vote in the presidential election the first time that he ran, you had the parties realized, oh, wow, we really want to try to shut out independent voices and shut out voices that'll rock the boat too much. So let's turn over this process from being an independent group, and let's make it so that the parties have control of it. Now, on the DNC side, of course you have Hillary Clinton with, ties to the Democratic elite. In fact, she is the Democratic elite. Bill Clinton is the Democratic elite. So if Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton, want to find a way to try to silence the opponents, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to look at the polling data and realize, well, right now we're still leading overall. So it benefits us to try to limit the number of debates as much as possible because we can only go downhill from here. And there's evidence for that, too. I mean, look back at the 2007-2008 election. Hillary Clinton, everybody just anointed her the winner before we even had the primaries back then. Everybody's like, oh, come on, she's a behemoth in the Democratic Party. She's the front runner. She's guaranteed to win. She's got name recognition. All the same things they're saying today. It's the same shit they said back then. And a guy named Barack Obama came up from her left and defeated her. You think they're not worried about something like that happening again today? Of course they're worried about that. So what do? You try to limit the debate so that you can keep your lead. And remember, it's not like this is just made up. I mean, if you look at the number of debates that have been had in previous elections, it's always way more than this. I mean, for example, look at the Republican debates from 2008 and look at the Republican debates from 2012 even. It was nonstop, debate after debate after debate after debate after debate. And there was just a lot of them. And by the way, the Republicans even realized, okay, we need to limit that because we look stupid. So limit. They want to limit theirs as well. But the idea behind the Democrats limiting it is, let's not go crazy here. Let's not give other people an opportunity to overtake the person who has the higher name recognition right now. Let's nip this in the bud and move along. So I think Bernie is right to complain about it. And I honestly think Hillary Clinton is right to be afraid of more debates. And it's up to, and this is the saddest part, it's up to the media to cover this well enough to make it so that people can be educated about Bernie Sanders without him having to be there to, really make a name for himself in a forum like a debate. And the media is not going to do that in any serious way. The only thing you could compare Bernie to on the right in terms of poll numbers and the surge that's happening is, of course, Donald Trump. And notice, who's getting more coverage in the media today, Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders? Similar surge in the polls. Bernie Sanders did a record comeback in New Hampshire. We showed you the polls. He was at 9%, now he's at 44%. So he's beating Hillary Clinton in the polls there. Did the media cover not Donald Trump. They did cover him nonstop. Did they cover Bernie Sanders nonstop? Did they cut away from, like on CNN, did they cut away from Hurricane Katrina specials to cover Bernie Sanders rallies in depth, in detail? They record the whole thing and show it? No, they only do that with Donald Trump. Now, there's a variety of reasons for that. Sensationalism bias is probably number one on the list here. But the sad thing is, when you limit the number of debates Bernie can have, you're handicapping him. And then when the media doesn't cover him like they should, based on the poll numbers, you're handicapping him. So he's fighting an uphill battle. We knew he was going to do this from day one. We knew that was going to be the case. And he's somehow still finding a way to power through and get his name out there. But in the end, will it be enough for him to win the primary and then go on to the general and perhaps win that? It's yet to be seen, but it's going to be a hard fight.